In most cases, they don't advance when they get to corporate, right? Because they lack certain skills. Even your weaknesses, you can always you can always change your weaknesses into opportunities, right? Today, organizations or companies, they even check you on social media, how you conduct yourself.
Challenges build character.
That's true.
All right.
Dumelang bagaetsho ko gae and welcome back to Conversations with Madam President, a show that brings you stories of hope and possibilities with an agenda to radicalize and revolutionize our way of thinking, to focus on arenas of solution and timeless strategies to make impact. And today on our show, I have my two brothers here. Sir Miehle, welcome to Conversations with Madam President.
Thank you.
Avuti, welcome to Conversations with Madam President.
Thank you.
Sir Miehle, I believe that you can see or today you are surrounded by a double portion of Kgaugelo ya Modimo.
I feel so much blessed.
we share a name,
Yeah,
so
I feel so much blessed.
You are blessed. You are surrounded by Kgaugelo ya Modimo. So it's really a great honor to have you here. I know you took your time from your commitments and your families. I truly want to appreciate you being here to share knowledge and get into the serious conversations that we want to have to specifically make impact and make an awareness out there to people. Okay, Avuti, can you please introduce yourself and tell our viewers who you are?
Okay, but first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for inviting me. I mean, this is the first time, but I do appreciate the opportunity.
Welcome.
So yes, I am Kgaugelo Monyemangene. So in terms of like occupation, I'm a financial manager in one of the financial institutions, which I won't name. In terms of career-wise, where I came from, so yes, I completed my academic, degree and honors at UJ.
Yeah.
And then whereas I did my articles at one of the audit firms, of which I won't name as well, but it's one of the big fours. And then I subsequently got an opportunity to grow, to go abroad and get some experience for a couple of 3 months. Then came back to SA, and then in SA, was part of that consulting firm, the audit firm, but in another division, like in advisory. And then what I did afterwards was to then, get an opportunity to then join the financial institution, which I'm currently in. So I'm a financial manager there. Thanks.
Sir Miehle, your turn. Please tell us who you are and your viewers out there.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President, for this opportunity. My name is Miehle, known as Miehle Chavalala. In terms of my background, career-wise, I actually have spent most of my career in the ICT space. I've been in different divisions in the engineering space, and also been in a business consultancy, but in the ICT space as well. And I'm currently in the technology space as an infrastructure manager for one of the, I'll say, the leading tech companies in Africa and Middle East.
You don't want to say the name?
Yeah, no, I'd rather not say. I'd rather not say, so that whatever we talk about today, it does not get linked to that organization. But yeah, it's actually the organizations that I love so much. Yeah, so in terms of qualifications or education, I'm a product of both UJ and VET. So I have basically an engineering degree and also a master's degree in engineering, and also another honors degree in business and an MBA from VET and UJ.
Thank you so much. I know I'm sitting here with great minds, and I appreciate your time. Let's get into it. I want us to discuss, since you are in from a corporate space, to put it that way, that here I am, Kgaugelo, I just graduated from the Wits University, and in my mind I have an ideology that there's a job waiting for me, and just because of the knowledge that I embody or I have, my knowledge will really be valuable in the space that I'm going into. Now, the transitioning, sometimes it becomes a bit difficult because the university space is where I accumulate knowledge. But then in terms of transitioning knowledge or using the knowledge that I have to be of value in where I am going, I don't have that kind of experience. How do we then prepare young people, a young person like me from a university space, into the space of work? How do we prepare young people in that sense? Because there's a huge gap in that transitioning. We can start with you.
Okay, I think, yeah, that's actually a bit of a difficult question. But
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, it starts with the mindset, right? Often enough, as young people, we think we know a lot,
Yes.
right? Especially when we come from these universities, we think we know a lot, and the more you open your mind to learning when you get to corporate space, as an example, that's when you realize that you don't actually know much. So I think it starts with the mindset, and also to bridge that gap, I would say it's not easy for companies to visit these universities and all that. But once you're there, to bridge the gap, I think what I would advise to maybe to young people or graduate is to find themselves mentors when you get to a corporate space, and that's how you grow when you find yourself mentors, because mentorship will give you a perspective, right? So you can be knowledgeable in terms
Yeah.
of theory,
Yeah.
but practically you realize that
Yes,
you know
yes,
nothing. So
yes.
it's important that you find yourself a mentor so they can guide you in the career that you want to you want to take, right? And also allow yourself to learn. No, don't go with the attitude that you know much better,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
today you find many graduates, right? They study doing their degrees, honors, and masters before they go to corporate,
That's
and
true. That's true.
thinking that just because I have a master's degree, I must just undermine the people that I find. The majority of all people there, they don't even have those master's degree, but they know much in terms of knowledge and the skills that they can transfer. So it's all about the mindset, in my view.
Thank you. Abudi, your take on that?
I mean, I concur with Miehle's point, right, in terms of mentorship. However, the point that I would like to actually make is maybe encourage them to, read certain books.
Yes, yes.
In terms of on my side, what I did, I read a book written by Dale Carnegie. So the title of the book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. So in that book, it kind of gives you, a playbook on when you enter, the working space, how you should conduct yourself. And then in one of the points that Miehle mentioned in terms of like, you need to go there, actually, you need to be humble, you need to be teachable, right? Yes, we do find a lot of graduates actually coming from a university, coming there, especially those who performed quite well here.
The A students.
Your A students, your cum laude, they come in there and then they actually think, maybe they know more and so forth. So it's better to come there, be humble, be teachable, and also create networks,
Yeah.
with people. So that book actually teaches you how to conduct yourself, how to speak to people. Yes, you'd find that in terms of theory, Miehle, you might know in terms of the theory on how to apply certain things there and there. However, those people, they know, practical. They have the experience and so forth. So when you make your points to people that work there, you need to make it in such a way that it's
Yes.
respectful,
Yes,
so that they can absorb everything that you're saying and then like you. You need to be likable.
That's true.
When you're
That's true.
likable, you create that network. When there's like promotion, prospect in the future, they think about you because you are building that brand for yourself. So yeah, I think that's how I did it on my end.
No, I think that's a very great point. And I'm saying this because when you are in a university space, you don't think much of the importance of experience, but you are more like, I want to focus on passing, then already there's a job waiting for me. And sometimes possibilities are you may be a student and unfortunately not find a job. In that instance, how do we position ourselves in a way that we are marketable, or we use whatever that we have learned, turn it into something, say, long we can be able to offer value somewhere into those spaces that we want to, expose ourselves to. For an example, it's very rare to find young people to say, can I volunteer? That can be one of the things that you can do just to sell yourself. And when they see that you add value, they can be able to take you. So in that situation where there's no job opportunities coming in, how do you position yourself to be marketable and to sell your skill out there? How do you do that as a young person?
Are you maybe referring to when you're already in a corporate or in a company or?
So I'm a graduate, but now the following year, I'm not finding a job. But I want us to have the mentality from the university space to say, I might get a job and I might not get a job. So
Okay, I see.
you are equipping yourself for both possibilities. How do we do that?
Can I take that one, eh?
Yes. While we are still in the university, I think I wanted to put it that way to say, while we are still in the university space, how do we equip ourselves in those both scenarios? Just to be...
I think Miehle will actually expand on that on my point.
Yes,
but
yes.
I want to make this point that choosing the right career, choosing the right degree, is quite critical.
Yeah.
So it's all about, as a South African,
Yeah.
understand the economy that you're in. We're in a developing economy. So developing economy meaning there is a lot of, development that needs to happen, a lot of businesses that need to open and so forth. There's certain skill set that are essential to this economy. So one of them would be maybe to become an engineer, like Mr. Miehle, or also be a chartered accountant, or those skills where if it happens that you don't get employment, one can go out there and start something, a business and so forth, right? Especially in the accounting space, you can open an accounting firm, using like the skills that you got from university. By so doing, you actually now tap into that creation mindset, Yeah.
Yeah, no, well said, Mr. Kgaugelo. Yeah, no, I mean, to his point, we are in a developing country,
Yes.
right? So one is to understand exactly what are the careers perhaps that are in demand, right, to start with. Because honestly speaking, universities are profit-driven organizations.
Absolutely.
They don't really care much of whether
is
you get a job or
relevant,
or the
yeah.
career you choose is relevant or not. They're looking at the targets. Each and every organization, I mean, is in the financial space. Each
They
and
have a
every
target.
organizations have
yeah.
target. I also have targets in the technology engineering space,
Yes,
right? In
yes.
terms of revenue. So these universities are profit driven. So we need to maybe change. I would say the mindset, because this system it's created in such a way that everyone just want to go to university when they finish their matric, but not understanding what does the country needs, right? Because I mean, your first points of reference is your country.
Yes.
What do we need as South Africa? The career that I'm choosing, is it going to benefit me? You need to ask yourself those questions, right? And like you said, like I'm just thinking out of it. I mean, currently globally, you have product management is one of the demanding careers. You have your financial management, one of the demanding careers. Your engineering, of course, and all that, right? So you must position yourself in such a way that you can be able to do something on your own and be a consultant, provided that you don't get a job, right? Don't just go where everyone is going, because I mean, supply versus demand. I think in your economic space, right? Supply versus demand. You need to understand that as well. And maybe one other thing I can add on to that, it's I think one of the speakers in one of the sessions I once attended once said, the illiterate of this 21st century are not those who are not those who cannot learn, but those who cannot learn, unlearn and relearn.
Yeah. I think that's a powerful point that you made, and we are struggling a lot with that. The reality is that, especially this young generation, we have a lot of information. However, we are unable to channel it to what is needed in this country. We are doing, let me be specific, irrelevant degrees that does not in any way contribute to the economy. And then when we get there in the workspace, we are not needed, right? And we want to be able to close that gap through information, sharing information out there to say, let's have the realities of what is happening out there. Let's look at what our economy needs, and then how are we positioning ourselves to be effective contributors to our economy, not only those people who depend to say, okay, after this, I have a job. How are you positioning yourself in this? What are you going to contribute to the economy? But in this space right now where we are, we don't have that, and we are struggling a lot with high rate of unemployment. So what I want us to get into, how do we then develop a mindset of building? because we are looking at the state of our economy. We need builders more than consumers. How do we position ourselves to be rather builders? The kind of mindset that we need to have, and the staying power. How do we develop that? Because you can't be building and don't have the staying power. Things change, but how do we position ourselves? Can you please share knowledge in that sense?
Okay, I can start, right?
Yeah.
I think Miehle touched on an important point, right?
Yeah.
A skill set of learning and relearning and so forth. So that point actually is called sort of a growth mindset.
Yeah.
So, having that ability, to actually, develop your skills, and then when you develop those skills, so that those skills actually, because you find that, Kgaugelo, maybe let me put this way, right?
Yeah.
You'd find that maybe certain skills are adequate for that specific time,
Oh.
right? I mean, even in the accounting space, you might find it that they're adequate at that specific time, but because of changing, of our economy, we are now we are in the fourth industrial revolution.
Yeah.
So there's certain skill sets that one needs, like your computer science, your coding, and so forth. So that you are able to be in demand. Because this economy requires people who have that skills, data analytics, and so forth. Yeah, even individuals that are even in corporate, they shouldn't have that fixed mindset, thinking that the skills that I have, they are unchangeable. No, they need to know that there's that constant, training and development of skill sets so that they become relevant in that particular time. So I think even those people who have, I don't want to term it as irrelevant, I would term it as degrees that are not in demand in the current economy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And those who have those things, right, they do have a bit skills and knowledge in there. Yes, it's not in demand. However, they can develop those skills.
Package it into
in such a way that when they go to a company, they will take them.
Strategic pivot.
Yeah.
Sammy, your take?
I really like your point there, Kgaugelo. Look, the growth mindset, right?
Yes,
This is the fixed mindset. Like I like that point because it just reminded me of the other day when I was emceeing in our town hall session in our business unit. I said the same exact words to the team, right? And this question, the point that you're trying to highlight, it does not only affect maybe the student, even us in corporate,
in the workspace,
right? Even us in corporate, in the workplace, right? Because things change very fast these days with technology. Things change very fast. So you need to know that in order for you to be relevant, keep on assessing yourself. Assess yourself. Am I still relevant to the market? Because you need to understand that. Am I still relevant to the market? So you must keep on assessing yourself, your skill set and improve, keep on improving. Because whatever is relevant today, in 2 years' time, it might be irrelevant. So we need to position us. And I would say the current generations, we are so much lucky and blessed because there's information out there. Unlike you and I, when we matriculated, I didn't even know the courses to do. I'm like, okay. I for one, I wanted to be a medical doctor. I was taken in Medusa, but my parents refused because of at the time I was a very sick person. And then I ended up doing engineering, right?
Yes.
So,
but did you know what it was then?
Look, well, in the family, my uncle was an engineer as well, from Vets, industrial engineer. So I used to drive these nice cars. I used to work for BMW. I'm like, I want to be an engineer just like him, so I can drive the BMW. So, but we have the information. It's just that we consume wrong things as the society. We spend a lot of time, and our phones, they can track the amount of time you spend on social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, and all that. You spend a lot of time on unnecessary things. there are podcasts that can teach people a lot, but people, we're fascinated by things that are not relevant. So as people, we need to have that growth mindset, like Kgaugelo said, and position ourselves in such a way that, you know what, if I if I don't do something, I'll be left behind.
That's
you know,
true.
because you mentioned the A student earlier. You mentioned the A student, and you'll be surprised that, with due respect to A student, I think I was an A student. With due respect to A students, in most cases, they don't advance when they get to corporate, right? Because they lack certain skills. They are more focused on books, right? So they lack certain skills. So you need to balance your skills that are required out there. And for example, competency, right? Anyone can easily learn competency. For me to survive, you need competency plus attitude, but your attitude must always be higher than competency. And then you add the network, the right people, the network, and you multiply all those by your effort and your time.
No, thank you so much for you can go ahead.
The soft skills.
Yes.
And then now you start to see actually or Miehle had mentors, within the family, right? Because a mentor, sometimes the people think actually having a mentor is having that one-on-one person. However, it goes over and above that. It's a person that you admire, you aspire to become. You look at how they conduct themselves. Their actions actually say a lot, so he had a mentor. You see, the mentorship in a way kind of helped him to make that informed decision in terms of career. So it's a vital thing, mentorship.
Let's get into that, because the concept of mentorship, you said it, we think it's a person you can sit with like this. I mean, it's forerunners in the industry that you're already in. How do we choose ones? Or rather, how do we change our mindset towards mentors in the sense that we benefit whether close to them or far away from them? How do we approach that one?
I can take it, So, when it comes to creation mindset, right? It's more of like you need to be proactive and so forth. So now it starts by actually saying, I'm in a financial institution. I want to become a CFO in 5 years' time, right? So that's a goal. A goal that is smart, right? Because it's specific, it's measurable, and then I believe it is attainable, And then having that goal, you then need to list, the set of skills that I have already, right? That can help me get there. Also, not shying away on having that list of weaknesses, that those weaknesses kind of create that opportunity for development, right? And then when you have dotted sort of like it could be a SWOT analysis of yourself, you then, identify individuals. I mean, I can identify certain CFOs, and then, you approach them. Can you mentor me? And then, have those sessions. And then also the other critical point of mentorship is that you need to constantly create make sure that relationship is intact all the time. You need to contact and so forth. Don't stay long without contacting your mentor and so forth. You need to touch base with them so that that relationship is intact. But then choose someone you aspire to become, and then you get to reach your goals.
How do we build those relationships? I mean, I think most of us struggle in that. I mentioned this, that we are more of a dependency generation where we think people will come looking for us, and not knowing that those who are before us or those we inspire to be, like, they don't have time for that. How do we keep in touch with our mentors, especially if we got an opportunity to interact with one and had time to be interested in what you have to say? How do we build that kind of a relationship? Because it can't be that time to time. They are busy. We understand that. So how do we make sure that we develop that kind of a relationship and we keep in touch just to be remembered and always be relevant to them?
Well, I think Kgaugelo mentioned something, right? The SWOT analysis, right? So it's important that you don't only apply these kind of frameworks in the business space, even to yourself, right? where you understand, you get to assess yourself, you understand your weaknesses, your strengths, and I mean, even your weaknesses, you can always you can always change your weaknesses into opportunities,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when you have that opportunity, one thing I've learned, and I unfortunately I learned that when I'm already very old. One thing I've learned, you know, these people in senior positions, we think they are not like us. They're just like
Wow.
us. You just knock the door. They are
Yes, yes.
always willing to open the door for you. But because of the mindset of I'm a junior person, you think they're not like us. I mean, in the past year, I've had the opportunity to engage with a lot of executive CEOs that I also chat to them, you know. And the more I engage these people, I realize that they are also human like us. You know, so it's a matter of having the courage. You must be courageous as a person. It's a matter of having the courage to take the first step. Just like a baby, a child, for a baby to be able to stand up and walk, it's about the courage.
a
You need to
process.
have the courage. Knock on those doors, you know. You have to knock on those doors, and then also don't expect, remember, as mentors, don't
Yeah.
expect them that they're just gonna come and feed you. You
Yes,
have to, they guide you, like I said, they give you a perspective. Then you have to do something.
Take
And when you
initiative.
think of something, you take initiative,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And then you go, sometimes you reach out to them like, I'm thinking of doing 1, 2, 3. What do you think? And that can spark like a long conversation, you know. So it's a matter of courage in my
So it's
view.
more of constructive relationships that, help us to elevate to wherever that we want. So in terms of, Abud, you spoke about reading books. Reading forms part of, I believe it's part of mentorship as well. I mean,
Yes.
biographies gives you insights on how people have made it. What books can you recommend, and how has books impacted and helped you, elevate in your space?
I mean, I'm honest, right? Yes, I do read
Yeah, yeah.
books. However, I don't read quite a lot the way I want, you know. When you find CFOs who read maybe one book per week, you know, I'm not there. I think the book, especially that is relevant for our topic, the 1 year Dale Carnegie, for me, it's all about actually like how do you win, friends and influence people. Like it will help you, personally,
Yeah, yeah.
in the workspace, even in future. I mean, that book is still relevant even today. There's other like 48 rules of power, but that
My
book, it's
favorite.
more like dangerous for people who haven't matured in the mind and so forth,
Yes,
because it
yes.
teaches you, some
Viciousness.
tactics there and there. But yeah, it's one of the books and that I have read that are relevant, or that have helped me in my career. There's something that you said that touched me.
Yes, yes.
I think, when we analyze this thing, like, what's a mindset?
Yes, yes.
Because mindset is more a set of beliefs, right? Beliefs also coupled with past experiences that kind of shapes, how we think, how we view the world that is outside, right? So now on the beliefs, right? If I grew up at a home whereby there's certain individuals, you can't easily approach them and so forth. There's that, respect and stuff that you were taught. It becomes a problem when you go to the corporate space as
space.
well. I think Miehle mentioned that sometimes we view those people as like being higher.
Yeah,
It's because of
yeah.
those set of beliefs
Oh, yeah,
that we had or being taught at home. So if we can analyze those things, put them on the table, and then view them as they are, and then start changing them, I think we will win.
That's an important point that I think you can add, Sam.
No, I like that, right? And the reason why I like that, you just made me think of something like, I'm one person who, like, even in corporate, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I would say I'm not a hierarchy person, right? it's easier for me to speak to whoever. Doesn't matter you are 3, 4, 5 position higher than me. I'm not a hierarchy person in that aspect.
Yes,
I
yes.
believe in respecting the person as a human being before the socio-economic status or the
Yes.
positions that, because I mean these positions are, I mean, we assume these positions, right? We're not born with these positions. So,
Absolutely.
and to Kgaugele's point, I think that plays a huge role, like you were saying, how you were raised, right? I think I'm one person who were raised in such a way that I cannot fear a person, human being.
Yes,
But
yes.
I'm scared of dogs, like nobody's business. Like nobody's business.
Yeah, that makes the two of us. Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I like that point, Kgaugelo. Look,
Yeah.
I mean that's a good point. Yeah.
I want us to go back to in terms of building ourselves, mindset and the conduct. Social media contributes a lot, and how we use this space, it can either break us or make us. So I want us to dwell into that to say, what can you say to young people out there who wants to build institutions that will last for generation after generation? Because what we do right now, in a way, contributes to where we want to go. They always say, the previous files, you know. People have the ability to take files from the archives, especially when you're
that's
trying to
real,
build
eh?
something.
That's
So
real.
how do we let's get into that in terms of building, especially when you want to reach higher level in your corporate space. How do we conduct ourselves in terms of and use the social media platforms? How do we use them?
Okay, let's start. That's a very critical point, right? Because I mean, social media is a digital footprint, and many people
Yes.
aren't aware that today organizations or companies they even check you on social media, how you conduct yourself, the things you post, the things you post and how you conduct yourself, and you're not aware, right? As much as there's Propia and all that, Propia
Yes,
Act,
yes.
but it's how you conduct yourself, especially the issue of, for me, I would say, as a person, you need to understand your purpose in life, right?
Yes, yes.
What's your purpose? And you need to understand what you need to do in order to get you to your purpose. It's the what, the why, and the how. How. It's the how is very important because you wouldn't aspire to be a CEO of one of the listed companies in the JSE and then you busy on social media conducting yourself like it will work against you whether you
Yes.
like it or not. You don't even
Yes.
have to be a CEO, and people need to learn that social media, it's a digital footprint. You
It
can
is.
delete something, it's there.
there.
Guys, we live in a
Archives.
in the fourth industrial revolution.
Yes, yes.
Things are there in the cloud. I mean, why don't we ask ourselves, like they tell you of the space, the cloud? Where is the cloud? It's not the cloud that you see when it's raining. Where is it? It's stored somewhere. So people
Yeah.
need to understand that whatever we do,
There.
will
It leaves a
tomorrow.
footprint.
Yeah, tomorrow will come to work against us.
Against-
So people need to have the social intelligence, right? You must have the social intelligence because social media will either break you
Or make you.
or make you.
That's true.
What we feed ourselves, like, whatever we consume, we're feeding our brains, our mind. It comes back to the mindset I was talking about. That if you consume a lot of, I don't know if maybe I'll be out of order. The way things are today, you can just watch one certain, they call it video or the short one. They
The
call
algorithm,
them,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
there's algorithm in our phones.
Yeah.
Next thing you start seeing a lot of those things.
yes,
So
yes.
so what you feed. So imagine the things you're watching. You're feeding your brain, your mind. It's important. People need to have social intelligence because social media is one world. It's one planet, guys. It can either break you or make you.
No, it's a weapon.
And in social media, you can use it for branding, right?
Yes, yes.
So in that creation mindset that I mentioned, you list everything, you want to open a business or you want to be a CFO. I mean, you can use the social media
Yeah,
space to
yeah.
build yourself, in such a way when someone searches you, they can see Kgaugelo is actually appropriate or adequate for a position of a CFO. So social media is critical, as Miehle stated. And then as well, you can use social media,
Yeah.
choose the relevant things, follow certain pages. And then as you spend a lot of time in social media, you can actually learn You watch
Yes.
podcasts that teaches you and so forth. So I mean, yeah, it's critical in building you.
No, thank you very much for that point. And going back to social media again, I mean, things have changed, and now, let's say this current generation and those who are coming after me, they have plenty of time, and they don't have the capacity of focus like those who didn't find social media as active as we find it now. How do we then advise young people to say we need to have a discipline in that area? Because that, I mean, like social media, you can be addicted to it to an extent that even your focus span in spaces, you can't even have a conversation with someone sitting with them like this. Time to time, you are here. And we miss those social skills to master those social skills. Already we are here. We can't even focus and have a conversation and learn. How can we encourage young people out there so that we don't, fall into the trap of that addiction? To use it properly in a sense that it will enable us to know the timing, when not to and when to.
I mean, if you choose proper, pages.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
mean, if you choose those proper pages which are not addictive.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, like pages which kind of educate you as and so forth. I think there you will have less screen time.
Yes,
And
yes.
then but the downside of social media is that it creates a lot of anxiety in people.
It does, it does.
It creates a lot of stress in a lot of people. When you view social media, you see a lot of people post good things only.
That's true.
Exactly.
Results.
when results. And I like your point.
Yes.
It's a result because
It's result.
result. Yes, they have achieved that degree. But they don't post actually when they had those
process.
failures and stuff. When it was rough.
Yes, yes.
So I think it's also maturity. Actually, you need to be matured enough and know that okay, whatever is on social media,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not real.
Yes, yes.
We
yes.
sell what we want people to see.
Yeah.
So we
I mean, it's more branding.
yes,
It's
yes,
marketing.
yes. So we still like the concept of stay in power. For an example, I've got a dream. I know I want to be an engineer, but it's a process. I want to be a CFO. It's a process. But then, just because of say Miehle is posting the BMW, like you said, you liked it, it influenced you to get into engineering.
But the point to make, this point actually, it can encourage someone
It does.
to actually choose a career
That's
aligned
true.
to
That's
Miehle
true. And
or
I'm
to
speaking
myself,
to it
yeah.
in the terms of results.
Yeah.
Now, how do I develop the staying power to say, yes, I see results, but most people Baba discouraged along the way because they only see results. They don't know what is required to stay in that process because it requires a sort of attitude to have that staying power to say, I need to push through until I make it. Yes, results are guaranteed, but then that staying power in the process, how do we develop it? And not be taken by results because the results are there only if we allow ourselves to go through the process, and the process is not easy.
It's more like hiking, eh?
Yes.
So I love hiking, right? It's a sport or activity I kind of found during COVID, right?
Yeah.
And then I did one of the trails called Mafadi in Drakensberg. Hey, it's a rough trail, eh? And it's a 4-day hike. I think when we did that first hike, actually, we did our first night hike.
Yeah.
So it was rough. But I think the lesson that I drew from that hike was that, life is a journey,
Yes.
right? You need to enjoy,
I
the
love
journey.
that. Can you please repeat that? We need to enjoy.
Yeah, the journey, and then the final product is
Guaranteed.
submitting,
Yes, yes.
to that Mafadi. But yeah, that's actually life for me. Don't be driven by end results. Yeah.
Semihleni.
Yeah, look, I mean, true, right? I would say commitment, right?
Yes.
Because most people, they focus on the end result, right? Let me give you an example. It's easier to see to see people being interested in getting married just because they saw beautiful pictures of Kgaugelo
Yes. Oh my
on
God.
his wedding day.
What an
there
example.
there was a trend the other day of this, like people. It was a beautiful wedding.
Yes,
Everyone now aspires to be married, but not everyone is ready to understand what marriage is,
What it takes.
what it takes to be in a marriage. Most people get married just because of, I want to look so beautiful on a
Flamboyant.
particular day, and the wedding is
Yes.
an event. That's why it's called
It's a-
event management.
it's
It's an event.
It's an end
It's a
result.
proper
Yeah, that's not a marriage. It takes a lot to be in a marriage. It takes a lot to be. It like you said, it's a journey, a process,
journey.
commitment. I would say, and also we cannot ignore the fact that you can only advise those who want to be advised, right? So people need to understand, like, what, to achieve certain things, it's a process. It doesn't just happen overnight. I often, not too long ago, I said, or I posted something like, people need to learn that 90% of the things that they see on social media, it's either not real or true, or and also we choose, just like, the ladies, when they take pictures, you will take 50 pictures and then you look for those two, the best, and you post those ones. But there's those ones where you are not, like,
Yeah.
looking good, but it was a process for you to take all those pictures, and then you assess all those pictures, and then you take the one and then you put it out there. People need to understand that in everything that you do in life, right? It's a process, it's a journey, and you have to walk your own journey.
And ignore it and run away from it.
Yes, you have to.
That's a powerful example, because it's a reality. It's a reality. We get fascinated easily. Just because we see something there, we get fascinated. And then going back to that, to say life is a process. Looking into your careers, where you come from, what are challenges that you can maybe share an experience of, what, I had to develop staying power because I know where I want to go. What are the challenges that you came across, but you stood the ground because you know where you want to go?
I think if I may start,
Yeah.
I would say, if sometimes when I talk to my friend, I'm like, you know what, if I had the power to change the past, I will definitely change, right? Often enough, when you are in the corporate space, you need to be able to read the room's temperature, right?
It's a skill.
Be able to read the room's temperature. I think along the process of my career, I happened to lose my job. I was out of job for 2 years, basically. And I was thinking about it few days or few weeks back, right? And when I think of that moment, I asked myself, if I was given a second opportunity, would I have done things different or
Differently,
not, right? And on a brighter side, I looked at, because what led me to losing my job in the process, and with a friend of mine, our department, or most of our departments, were outsourced, right? And in the process, we had to cut. They wanted to cut our salary. I'm like, never, not in under my watch. And it got to a point where myself and a friend of mine, we were representing the department, right? Little did we were young. Little did we know that this can land in in wrong hands. And
That's true.
we happened to lose our job. And the sad part, when I happened to lose my job, I think I was the most educated person in my department at the time. I could see that there's an agenda, right? At the time, I was a supervisor for the team. And then I remember certain team complained, no, this team, it has highly qualified people, and they dismantled my team. And then I had a new team. I still performed, right? My team still performed. But because I didn't have a good relationship with my senior, my HOD, the one I was reporting to, it got to the point where, when there was a process of retrenchment and all that, I was the first person to be given the letter.
Sure.
And this is not a joke. My friend was sitting next to me, was like, hey, Chavalala, like, why the COO and the chief HR, when they presenting here, they looking at you? I'm like, you know what, I don't know. So for me, those are the challenges that I came across. But in
Yeah.
a way, I allowed myself, because I believe you need to learn
Learn
in
from
every situation,
everything.
right?
Yes.
It presented me an opportunity to, when I was out of job, it presented me an opportunity to pursue my career in a different way, where I ended up doing the MBA later on, right? And I would say maybe that happened for a reason, because
Yes,
if I
yes.
didn't if I didn't lose my job, perhaps I wouldn't have had an MBA.
Mm-hmm,
Later on, I studied, in fact, an honors in business before I could do the MBA,
mm-hmm.
when I was out of work. And that has really helped me a lot, in such a way that now I look at things different. With due respect to technical people or engineers,
yeah.
in most cases, they are systematic people, systematic thinking.
Yes,
They
yes.
don't really open their mind to understand that there's also a business aspect of things,
it,
right?
yeah.
So that has also helped me a lot, in terms of, like, I understand now there's more to systems, because they will be like, as long as my system is working fine, I'm fine.
fine.
But you need to understand the bigger picture. We are an organization today because of the customers.
Yes,
We need to
yes.
serve our customers, right? So for me, it was a lesson that I learned in the process. So you need to read, like I said, be able to read the room's temperature, understand that organization where you at, because some people can feel threatened by your energy. You're right. So you need to be able to read the room's temperature. You can be lucky you be reporting to a person whom like never felt threatened by you being an outspoken person and all. Like my current manager right now, like I like the guy a lot, because there's one person who always encourage his people, and it does not feel threatened by being me. I'm an outspoken person when
Yeah.
in corporate. I'm a shy person now and out there, but when when I'm in those boardroom, like I'm kind
Yeah.
of like a beast, So, and he's quite a cool person, So I like that. Yeah.
No, thank you so much for sharing up with you. Anything to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, what we take from Miehle, right, is that challenges build character.
That's true.
All right, it builds character. You find new, ways of, growing yourself. Really. So, in terms of myself, I would kind of give more an academic challenge that
Yes,
I
yes.
had. Right, that when I matriculated, right, one of my parents actually lost their job, right, and then we started having challenges, like having one parent working, and then I needed to, go and apply, not apply, but to go to university, right?
Yes, yes.
And then you find yourself, or I found myself in a crossroad that do I go work or do I go and then study? And then that's actually what makes me to appreciate the parents that I have. Despite the challenges that were there, they kind of encourage education, right? They made my dad actually sacrifice something to make me go
to university.
to just get that registration fee, right? And then I didn't have a bursary. So weird, right? I didn't have a bursary. I wrote my first exams without a bursary, without books. So what I-
Correct.
so,
Correct.
so what I did, I used to go to the library, study and so forth. But weirdly, the Almighty works in different forms and
Yeah.
stuff. So I managed to pass certain subjects, top of my class, getting those awards. I wouldn't say maybe I'm an A student, but
You are? He's hiding away from it. He is. He doesn't want to feel
Yeah.
attacked.
but I mean, to this point, right?
Yeah.
It built a character. I had to fight. I had to fight, and then it kind of leads me to. I'm not a pastor, Mr. Miehle.
I
I'm not
see
a
we are about to
pastor.
ordain
I'm not
you.
yet ordained.
Let's
But
get
there's
into it, men of God.
there's a scripture in Ecclesiastes 11, right? I'm not sure about the verse.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it says that if people or if farmers waited for a perfect weather to plant, or they wouldn't harvest,
That's
right?
true.
If people wait for a perfect time to do something, they will never do it. So that's the wisdom that Solomon wrote, right? So it kind of tells you that actually when you want to do something, just do it. I went to school. I had those challenges. I didn't
Yeah.
have a bursary. My family supported me. I enjoyed. I studied using library books for the first tests, which I passed very well. And then eventually, God's miracles happened, and then I got a bursary within the university because I passed quite well, man. In matric, I was top. I was a top matriculant. And not saying that I'm smart, but it's
Yeah,
more of hard work
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff, and so forth. The character that I had. Yeah, I mean that's how actually the challenges have built my characters.
I love that you didn't misuse God. You had to do your part.
Exactly.
And then He saw your efforts and then you meet you halfway. Miehle?
I think to summarize what we both said, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Young people shouldn't allow themselves to fall into the trap of feeling like victims.
Ish.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yo, yo.
You are summarizing this thing.
That's a huge one. That's a huge one because now at the exposure of everything is in our eyes. In our eyes, in a sense that when you open your phone, things are happening for other people. Like we said, we always see results, and then it puts you at a position, especially when you are not mentally matured or spiritually, emotionally matured, to think that you are left behind. But it's just their win. We don't see the process. So sometimes that's how young people develop their victim mentality, to say, but for them things are going well, but you don't know the full story.
The full story.
You don't know the full story.
Victim mentality
Yeah.
is dependence mindset,
Wow.
right? We are
Well
saying,
said. Yeah. Well said.
yeah, we are saying actually, I'm going there, I'm depending for someone to do something. If they don't do it, I blame them and so forth. Victim mentality.
It never
Never
works.
want to be accountable for their own actions. We need to be accountable.
Because creation mindset is more responsibility, taking responsibility. You fail, and then you look
check.
when you analyze that failure, it shouldn't be about other people. It should be about you, self-reflection. What did I do wrong? How can I improve there? By so doing, you are now tapping into a creation mindset.
Yeah.
Yo, I think time is not on our side. I really love this conversation, and I believe that it will assist so many people out there. I mean, I've learned so much from you. I'm still not yet there in your space, but I've taken so much wisdom from the both of you. With the few minutes that we have, what would you like to say to young people out there to encourage them to understand the importance of endurance and understanding their timing, their seasons, and all that? What would you like to say to them, just as a words of encouragement to those who are still struggling and they want to get where you are?
I mean, I would go and reiterate the point that I made, right? Elisha's 11. Don't wait for a perfect situation to start something. If you have that a goal,
Yeah.
just go for it, right? Have that drive. Choose careers that you love, because when you love something, you will be humble enough to be teachable.
Yeah.
You'll be humble enough to learn from other people, and then you will do by all means, to make sure you achieve that goal.
Nice.
Miehle, over to you.
I think what I would like to say, right, is we are emotional beings.
Yes.
And one thing I've learned to realize in life is many of us are emotionally damaged. Hence, I said we shouldn't allow ourselves to fall into the trap of feeling like we are victims, right?
Yes.
So, as young people, they don't be an average. There's always someone watching. Don't be an average. Don't be an average. Try by all means to excel. And my departing with it will be this quote: "The the opportunity of a lifetime needs to be taken in the lifetime of that opportunity. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, sir, for coming. And Abudi, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, sir Miehle. I know that so many people are going to learn from this, and it was a great conversation. And I know for sure that we are going to make a difference out there, and it will impact some other people, not some other people, a lot of people in a positive way, and assist them to, change their mindset, be winners out there, and understand that at the end of the day, victory is certain. As long as we do what we're supposed to be doing, enjoy what we're supposed to be enjoying, victory is certain. From me to you, I want to thank you guys, and please don't forget to subscribe. Yes, we need the numbers. Thank you so much.